This is daily market video update for December 5th, 2013. Current time is 11:31 GMT. Waiting for the Bank of England and ECB meetings. The latter probably more important. If you look at the price action the past couple of days, it's been one mainly of position adjustments, with dollar yen backing off that 103.30 high to trade around 102 for the second day in a row, and actually the fourth out of the past six. As I noted yesterday in my video, 101.50 to 55 is key support, and would have to get through there to really put a squeeze on the bull side. Otherwise, the euro dollar has now traded around 136 for the seventh day in a row. If you look at the price action to start the week and looking ahead to the ECB meeting, you would have thought that the euro would probably be trading around 135 and not 136 at a minimum, but instead it defies gravity and continues to trade around this level, actually extending its high to 136.39 overnight, which by any measure is confounding, considering we're expecting Draghi to at least be dovish, or stay dovish, and for ECB projections to show tame inflation in the period ahead. With that said, the euro dollar is around 136, and that's going to set the tone going forward. The longer this pattern goes on, the greater chances of a directional move when it happens. Normally, the range is narrow when you get a pattern like this, but the high was extended overnight, which can only be attributed to a stop hunt more than anything else, because there's no reason for it to move up ahead of the ECB meeting. Market will react to headlines today, but you have to be a little wary of follow through, considering how many false starts we've had to the downside. On the downside, you'd have to take out 135.50 to put that 135.20 level in risk, and on the upside now it's 136.39 is the high, with 136.50 probably the obstacle ahead. So we're within 135.50 to 136.50. 136 is going to set its tone. Looking at the charts quickly, key levels remain the same. The 20-day moving average is now 135.05. This trend line is 135.03, and now the new high is 136.39. 4 hour, the 200 period is still basically flat, with the 100 period moving average providing some measure of support. We look at the 1 hour, we can get rid of some of these lines here. I'll do that later. The key level here seems to be around 135.80, which is also the overnight low. We'd have to get below 135.80 to negate momentum against this high, and but you can see on the downside there's very little also. Looks like 135.60 may be a level, but I'm using 135.50. So 135.50 to 136.50 will probably set the range today. It's hard to see the dollar coming under too much pressure ahead of tomorrow's non-farm payroll, but news algos have a way of pushing it depending on what Draghi says, and by any measure, the risk is that he stays dovish, so they could see a test to the downside, which would be typical. But otherwise, once we get the ECB and BOE meetings out of the way, market goes into a holding pattern waiting for non-farm payroll on Friday.